What's up, guys? This is Firestorm Gaming here, and yeah, this will probably be my last video with NBA 2K14 footage in it. I've been playing NBA 2K17 on my new gaming computer, and it is awesome. 60 frames per second, mind-blowingly awesome. So once I get my video game recording software set up on there, you're only going to be getting NBA 2K17 footage, but I wanted to talk about the Warriors because it's really interesting. So the Warriors have had a rough start to the season. They lost to the Spurs and then they beat the Pelicans, but they didn't blow them up by any means. I mean, they barely beat the Pelicans, and people are wondering if they're actually gonna they're speculating is this the demise of the Warriors? Are they actually going to be as good as everybody thought? And it's really interesting because in order to get Kevin Durant, they had to give up Andrew Bogut. They had to give up Harrison Barnes. They lost Maurice Spates. They also lost Festus Ezeli in the process as well. So that's 4 players that they lost. Very, very good players that they lost to get Kevin Durant. So it's a really interesting situation in Golden State because looking at the game footage from those games, it seems like their problem is defense under the hoop. They just don't have anybody under the hoop that can protect the rim. Like, sure, Draymond Green can jump up and block a shot. Sure, Kevin Durant can block a shot. And, yeah, I mean, they're not completely in the toilet with their current position at center with Zaza Pachulia. But at the same time, it's very hard to replace Harrison Barnes and Andrew Bogut. Those guys are looking like all-stars playing for the Dallas Mavericks. So, yeah, you throw out Maurice Spates too. I think he ended up with the Clippers or something like that. But Maurice Spates, he was a baller coming off the bench. He's putting up 10 points a game. Sometimes he put up 20 points a game coming off the bench. He was a really, really good bench player. So I think the Warriors are in a little bit more trouble than people realize, but it's nothing to panic about at the same time. They still have 4 all-star players on the same team, and yeah, I mean, once they get their crap figured out, they're going to be dominant. But the real question is going to be come playoff time, because the Warriors beat the Cavaliers beat the crap out of the Warriors because the Cavaliers were they basically just outplayed the Warriors. They shut them down. They figured out their strategy, and teams are starting to figure out how to shut down Steph Curry. Like, there is a way to shut down Steph Curry. If you get right up in his face, you don't give him those 3-point shots when you're not expecting it. And then if you can kind of cut him off from getting to the rim, it's actually possible to stop Steph Curry. It's not that difficult. So teams are starting to figure out how to stop Steph Curry. We saw that with the Cavaliers in the finals. They did kind of, I won't say they shut him down completely, but they kept him under wraps. They kept him, they kept him under 20 points in some games, and Klay Thompson really was the main scorer in that series. And it's kind of funny because I think Charles Barkley came out recently on TNT and said that Kawhi Leonard and Klay Thompson are actually better superstars than Steph Curry and I think LeBron James or Kevin Durant. I mean, I can't remember who he was comparing to, but it was really interesting because he was basically saying that Klay Thompson is the superstar in Golden State, which after watching the Oklahoma City series and also watching the NBA Finals, it's hard to disagree with him. Klay Thompson was on fire. Steph Curry, he didn't really provide a whole lot. He hit some big shots, but didn't take over the game in the way that you would think the league MVP would take over the game. So it's really interesting, though, because this is a jump shooting team. I mean, and minus Kevin Durant, they're basically a jump shooting team. This is a team that likes to get open jump shots, and if you pressure them and you don't give them those open jump shots, especially in the playoffs, because like during the regular season, yeah, people play tight defense, but they don't really play that tight of defense, whereas when you're playing in the NBA playoffs, people get right up in your face and they shut you down. So you have to find a way to kind of bump and grind and score difficult baskets underneath the hoop. And, that's something that they were able to do because they did have a deep bench. So if Steph Curry was having an off game, if he was getting targeted and beat up on and whatever, they could still win games and win a championship. But now that you have a stripped down Golden State lineup, a bench that's a lot weaker, they don't have the same players that they used to, it puts them in a very awkward position where I don't know if they can come and dominate the way that they did last year. I don't know if they're going to have the same kind of record that they had last year. It's really, really in question at this point. So we'll have to see how the rest of the regular season plays out. Kevin Durant's looking great. He's been the big highlight reel, basically. I mean, he's been putting up incredible numbers so far, and we can expect more of that from him. But it's really interesting because this whole defense under the basket, rebounding, that is what's killing him. That's what everybody speculated would be the problem, and it is currently the problem. Zaza Pachulia is not a good defender. He does not block shots. He doesn't get in there and make plays in the same way that Andrew Bogut did. So I think the Warriors are in for a long season. I mean, they're still going to win. They're still going to dominate. They're probably still going to be top of the Western Conference, but I would, at this point in the season, San Antonio Spurs are the best team in the Western Conference, and you can make a case for the Clippers as well. I'd love to see what happens when the Clippers take on the Warriors. If they actually beat the Warriors, that's going to make a big case for the Clippers as well in terms of power rankings. So we'll have to see how things play out, but right now it's looking kind of rough for the Warriors. They just don't have the same options that they had before. They don't have the same shooters. You know, they've still got guys like Sean Livingston and stuff, but Sean Livingston is not a good three-point shooter. You know, you start stripping guys off of their bench like Maurice Spates and you take Harrison Barnes out of the lineup, it does affect things in the rotation. The reason why this Golden State team has been so dominant historically is because they had a deep bench. It wasn't just because of Steph Curry. People think like, oh, it's because of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. It's like, well, yes, but they also had a really deep bench. So when you strip out that bench depth and you put Klay Thompson and Steph Curry in the lineup, and yeah, you throw Kevin Durant, so in terms of scoring that makes up for it, but what you don't factor in is the fact that Golden State was ranked number 1 in defense. And the main reason for that was because of guys like Harrison Barnes and Andrew Bogut, who they no longer have. Those guys were incredible around the rim, incredible. Harrison Barnes was an incredible perimeter defender, and you strip those guys out, it really does make things complicated. So now you think about it, you know, going against the Cavaliers have gotten better, they've gotten more dangerous, they've gotten more scary, and they're just picking up off of where they left off last year with the championship. So it's a big question mark with the Golden State Warriors. How good are they going to be? Are they going to repeat what they did last year in terms of their record? And are they able to win a championship with their current lineup? I personally don't think so. I think they're in a position where they might have to look at possibly making a trade before the deadline. We'll see how they do. You know, if they get 10, 20 games into the season, they might start shopping for big men. That's very, very possible. It's possible that they might start shopping for big men. They might start moving some pieces because they need some people under the basket that can protect the rim. So it's going to be interesting, though. That will be an interesting narrative to watch in the NBA, so pay attention to it, guys. But yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe. I have a lot more content coming your way, especially NBA 2K17. Getting my new gaming computer set up still, but I was playing it today, and it's pretty freaking awesome, especially on 60 frames per second. The graphics, the gameplay, it's absolutely incredible. So once I get my video recording software set up on there, you will be getting NBA 2K17 content. So stay tuned for more content, guys, and feel free to subscribe. Thanks for watching.